O'Donoghue! To what do we owe the honor?
Can you tell me about this woman, Mia Novotny?
She got stabbed and stuffed in the car, I guess.
Not happy.
Who's not happy?
Set in a dusty, offbeat corner of California, the upcoming film Honey Don't finds its footing in a blend of neo-noir mystery and dark comedy that promises to be as stylish as it is unconventional. Directed by Ethan Coen and co-written with Tricia Cooke, this movie marks the next entry in their series of off-center character-driven stories following their first entry, Drive Away Dolls. But while Drive Away Dolls was a zany road trip caper filled with quirky humor and queer protagonists, Honey Don't shifts the tone to something more biting and mysterious, albeit still tinged with the Coen signature taste for irony and character idiosyncrasies. This film brings together a stellar cast with Margaret Qualley taking the lead, supported by Aubrey Plaza and Chris Evans, among others, for a story that swirls around secrets, deception, and the uncomfortable truths that lie just beneath the surface of small-town respectability. Margaret Qualley stars as Honey O'Donoghue, a sardonic and sharp private investigator whose laid-back exterior hides a penetrating intelligence and a knack for finding herself in sticky situations. The story kicks off with Honey being hired to look into a mysterious death linked to a religious group with a strangely growing influence across parts of the state. What at first seems like a routine investigation soon becomes a complex spiral of revelations, strange symbols, and tangled motives. Coen and Cooke inject the film with a heavy dose of atmosphere. Honey's journey into the inner workings of this cult-like community forms the backbone of the plot, offering suspense, character development, and a fair share of offbeat humor. The writing is reportedly infused with dialogue that's both razor-sharp and playfully absurd, typical of Ethan Coen's work. Tricia Cooke's influence ensures that the narrative remains grounded in authentic queer identity and layered relationships, especially as Honey's own emotional journey unfolds in tandem with the mystery she's trying to solve. Chris Evans, known for his charisma and traditional leading man roles, plays against type here as Reverend Drew, the mysterious and magnetic leader of the local religious sect. His performance is said to walk the line between charm and menace, keeping both Honey and the audience unsure of where his loyalties really lie. His relationship with the community is complicated, and his interactions with Honey are charged with a kind of philosophical tension. He's not just a villain in the traditional sense, but a figure who genuinely believes in his mission, which makes him all the more unsettling. Meanwhile, Aubrey Plaza portrays MG, a local sheriff's deputy, whose relationship with Honey deepens as the investigation progresses. The dynamic between Qualley and Plaza is one of the emotional centerpieces of the film, giving it a human depth that balances out the more heightened genre elements. Their chemistry is reportedly electric, with both actresses playing off each other's dry wit and emotional vulnerability with ease. The tone of Honey Don't rides the line between a traditional detective noir and a more experimental, character-driven narrative. The film leans into stylized visuals and dreamlike sequences to capture Honey's internal state and the oddities of the town she's navigating. Ari Wegner, known for her work on films like The Power of the Dog, handles cinematography duties, creating a visual palette that shifts between dusty realism and vivid, expressionistic imagery. That contrast helps highlight the duality of the world Honey is investigating, one that looks normal on the surface but is anything but underneath. Carter Burwell returns to score the film, adding another layer of atmosphere. His compositions blend haunting melodies with unconventional instrumentation to reflect the strange energy of the town and the inner lives of the characters. As the music subtly underscores scenes, it helps the audience feel the building sense of tension and surrealism. Unlike its predecessor, Honey Don't dives deeper into the psychological toll of investigation and obsession. Honey O'Donoghue is not your typical hard-boiled detective. She's messy, a bit directionless, and driven as much by a need to understand herself as she is by the desire to crack the case. This makes her journey more intimate, even as the plot expands to include more players and twists. Her personal demons occasionally interfere with her work, and her connection to MG brings an emotional vulnerability that complicates the story. Yet that complexity is what gives the film its emotional weight. Tricia Cooke's script ensures that Honey's queerness isn't a subplot or window dressing. It's integral to how she navigates the world, how she interprets the lies around her, and how she relates to the people she's trying to protect or expose. That authenticity resonates across the board, making the film feel not only unique, but necessary in a genre that often sidelines or oversimplifies queer characters. Billy Eichner and Charlie Day round out the supporting cast, providing comic relief that never feels out of place. Instead, their characters are woven seamlessly into the story, adding eccentricity and unpredictability. The town Honey is investigating feels like a character in itself, filled with bizarre personalities and contradictory impulses. That atmosphere, one of both menace and comedy, is part of what makes Honey Don't so intriguing. Every corner Honey turns leads to another half-truth, another character who might know more than they're letting on, and another step closer to a conclusion that's as tragic as it is inevitable. The film also uses symbolism and surreal sequences to reflect Honey's descent into confusion. The further she digs, the more she questions what's real, about the case, about the town, and about herself. There's also a strong thematic through-line about control and freedom. The church, led by Reverend Drew, claims to offer spiritual liberation, but imposes rigid structures on its followers. Honey, by contrast, represents chaos and independence, but even she begins to feel the weight of expectation and trauma. The I. Interactions between her and Drew become philosophical duels, raising questions about the nature of belief, the allure of power, and the cost of truth. These are big ideas, but Coen and Cooke never let them overshadow the characters. Instead, these themes are revealed through their choices, their failures, and the messiness of human connection. The script doesn't go for tidy resolutions or forced catharsis. It embraces ambiguity, allowing viewers to draw their own conclusions about the characters' motivations and the world they inhabit. The title, Honey Don't, itself plays with irony. It's both a warning and a dare, an invitation to defy convention and face the consequences. That tension runs throughout the film. Every moment of humor is laced with anxiety, and every moment of drama is undercut with absurdity. In many ways, this is the heart of the Coens' collaborative work, creating stories that are as intellectually stimulating as they are emotionally resonant, with characters who feel lived in and flawed. The production process itself reflects this balance. With Coen and Cooke working closely together as writers and producers, their creative vision remains tightly unified. That cohesion is evident in the storytelling, the visual style, and the tone. Their decision to make a trilogy of queer B-movies isn't just about subversion, it's about reclaiming genre for voices and stories that have historically been marginalized. Honey Don't represents an exciting evolution in that vision. It maintains the irreverence and wit that made Drive Away Dolls so entertaining, but it deepens the emotional stakes and sharpens the satire. It explores identity not as a novelty, but as a lens through which the entire world is filtered. And at the center of it all is Margaret Qualley's Honey, scrappy, smart, and stumbling her way toward truth in a world that doesn't make it easy. With its release slated for August 2025 and a premiere at the Cannes Film Festival in the midnight screening section, anticipation is building. Early buzz suggests that this could be one of the standout indie films of the year, blending genre, style, and heart in ways that few films manage. If you're a fan of off-kilter mysteries, sharp dialogue, and characters that break the mold, Honey Don't will be one to watch.